Breaking news, LUMI legacy, and I hope you're sitting down for this, because what I'm about to tell you isn't just messy. It isn't just scandalous. It is historic-level chaos unfolding in real time. Y'all, Remy's exclusive, grown woman. I finally chose myself romance with Eazy the block captain just officially collapsed like a cheap folding chair at a family barbecue. And the internet is gagging, wheezing, and clutching its pearls like we just interrupted regular programming on BBC, NBC, E! News, and TMZ at the same time, because while Remy was out here preaching loyalty, defending her new man, and dragging Papoose through the mud like he was the villain of a Netflix docuseries, Eazy, the block captain, cheated not once, not twice, but allegedly with multiple women, including one who literally said, "Yeah, we've been seeing each other." Remy just didn't know. Oh, but that's not even the shocking part. The real plot twist? The same man Remy risked her marriage, reputation, and the entire hip-hop community's respect for, is the one who just spun the block and embarrassed her in 4K like this was a live televised event. So buckle up, baddies. Because today, we're peeling back every layer of this disaster. The internet has seen scandals before, but nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared anyone for the public circus that exploded the minute Remy's situationship with Eazy the block captain started cracking at the seams. The moment this story hit, it felt like every major network paused their regular programming. BBC froze. NBC froze. Even E! News looked around like, wait, this is too wild even for us, because this wasn't just some regular celebrity drama. This was the unraveling of a relationship that was built on interviews, battle rap arenas, fake confidence, and clout-fueled delusion. And the best this video? It all came crashing down faster than anyone expected. See, for months, Remy had been pushing this narrative that she was finally choosing herself. She was finally stepping away from a broken marriage, finally embracing a new chapter, finally living her truth, whatever that meant. But the truth was never as glamorous as she tried to package it. While Remy was doing interviews talking about empowerment, growth, and love that feels good, there was a whole different movie playing behind the scenes. And that movie didn't have a soft soundtrack or a happy ending. It had chaos. It had betrayal. It had receipts that could bring a grown person to tears. Let's start where the mess really began. The moment Remy stepped out with Eazy the block captain, people were already looking sideways. Nobody bought the innocent act. Nobody believed the professional relationship excuse. The hip-hop community didn't suddenly wake up confused. The streets didn't suddenly lose their intuition. Everyone saw what it was from the beginning. The chemistry, the glances, the unnecessary defense of this man like she was his legal guardian. It was giving everything except just business. And when rumors came out that she had been creeping with Eazy behind Papoose's back, the internet practically detonated. People weren't just shocked. They were offended. Because Remy and Papoose weren't just any couple. They were the so-called gold standard for black love, loyalty, and ride or die devotion. Papoose held her down during her entire prison sentence. He married her in a courthouse just so they could lock him before she went away. He supported her music career. He managed her. He even supported her battle rap ventures that never took off the way she hoped. This man invested in her like she was a startup company that had great branding, but no actual business plan. So when everyone found out she had been creeping with a man who looked like a younger, cheaper version of Papoose, people didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The jokes practically wrote themselves. And the scandal didn't just damage her image, it shattered it. Suddenly, the woman who used to call out other female rappers for lacking loyalty was the one being dragged for doing the very thing she warned others about. But instead of stepping back, instead of choosing peace, instead of looking at the mess she made and saying, okay, maybe I need to sit down somewhere, Remy doubled down. She went on interviews saying her relationship with Papoose had been dead for years. She claimed he was financially unstable, that she was the breadwinner, that she stayed for the sake of image. She said she finally found a man who made her feel chosen. The irony, of course, is that the man she chose apparently wasn't choosing her back, because while Remy was out here defending him, bending over backwards to protect his reputation, telling the world she had finally found real happiness, Eazy was quietly moving like a man who had zero intention of being faithful to anybody. The second the hype faded and the spotlight wasn't shining on their situationship the way it used to, he didn't stay loyal. He didn't stay respectful. He didn't even stay discreet. According to insiders, he started entertaining other women almost immediately, and not just any women to rappers. One was an artist on his own league. The other was allegedly his ex, who apparently never stopped having access to him, and the gag is, one of them wasn't even trying to hide it. She straight up said she was still seeing him while Remy was out here fighting for her image. She said she pulled up to a hotel. She said Remy got mad because she knew exactly where she was. She said the reason Remy hated her was simple: she had been dealing with Eazy long before Remy stepped into the picture. The same man Remy was publicly calling the best man she's been with in years was allegedly running laps behind her back. Now picture this. Remy Ma, the same woman who told the world she finally found a man who wasn't dusty, who wasn't broke, who wasn't depending on her financially, is now looking at the reality of a man who treated her like an optional character in his own drama. Eazy didn't even deny the cheating allegations. And the reason he didn't deny anything? Because he didn't care. To him, all of this was a clout funnel, a career booster, a publicity stunt that worked for a few months and then lost its shine. But the scandal didn't stop there. No, it got worse. Remember when Papoose allegedly confronted Eazy and things got physical? Remember the story where Eazy said Papoose snuck him? Remember how he described it like it was a WWE match in a hallway? All of that wasn't just a moment. It was foreshadowing. It showed the dynamic that has now come full circle. Papoose wasn't fighting over love. He was fighting over respect. He was fighting because he realized he was being played by two people at once. And while all this was happening, Eazy was doing interviews acting like he was the main character. He said he wasn't a side piece. He said he was the real deal. He said Remy chose him because she saw something in him. Meanwhile, he was allegedly texting other women, meeting up, entertaining, moving around like he wasn't attached to anybody. One of his voice notes even leaked where he explained exactly how he planned to profit from the breakup. He said he wasn't leaving without a bag. He said if Remy went back to Papoose, he'd expose everything. He even mentioned how being the guy who messed with Remy could earn him a reality TV check. And now that the relationship is falling apart publicly, that voice note suddenly makes perfect sense. He wasn't in love. He was in business. And Remy wasn't a partner. She was an investment. And the most embarrassing part? The entire situation is now being dragged across social media like a parade float. People are mocking her, calling her delusional, saying she risked a loyal husband for a man who turned out to be community property. They're calling her storyline the real-life reboot of How to Lose Your King in 10 Days. The entire situation is spiraling. Remy is stuck between embarrassment and damage control. Papoose is silently winning the public sympathy vote. Eazy is out here acting like he didn't just fumble one of the biggest cosigns of his career. And the internet is sitting front row, popcorn in hand, watching everything fall apart like a movie that didn't need a script because the real-life chaos was already perfect, and just when people thought things couldn't get messier, things took another turn. Because the deeper you dig into this cheating timeline, the more it becomes obvious that Remy wasn't the victim she tried to paint herself as. She walked into this mess with her eyes open. She ignored the red flags. She dismissed the warnings. She wanted this relationship to work so badly that she pretended not to notice the signs that everyone else saw clearly. And as the crumble became visible, the narrative shifted. The same people who once defended her were now saying she deserved better than this. Others said she deserved exactly what she got. The internet has no mercy, and Remy learned that lesson the hardest way possible. But this story doesn't end here. Because this scandal isn't just about cheating. It's about leverage, power, revenge, career moves, image, and the unexpected fallout that absolutely no one saw coming next. Absolutely no one saw coming next. Because the moment the cheating confirmations started slipping through the cracks, something else started happening behind the scenes, something way bigger, way uglier, and way more career-destroying than anyone predicted. What started as a messy love triangle suddenly twisted into a full-scale scandal involving money, management, contracts, and decisions that Remy never expected would come back to choke her at the worst possible moment. People thought this was just about who slept with who, but that was only the appetizer. The real drama was everything Remy tried to hide beneath the surface. The politics, the favoritism, the secret investments, the money she allegedly funneled into Eazy's image like she was rebuilding him from scratch. The decisions she made for him behind Papoose' back. The deals she rejected on his behalf as if she was his personal shield. And now, every single one of those choices has flipped into a liability. The moment people realized Eazy never actually took her seriously, the entire narrative shifted. Suddenly, Remy wasn't the woman who boldly stepped into a new chapter of her life. She was the woman who got played while financing the man who played her. She became the storyline everyone was dissecting like a crime scene. And more than that, this wasn't just embarrassing, it was dangerous to her brand. Because when a person's image is built on toughness, loyalty, and being 10 steps ahead, getting caught slipping like this feels like a public execution. Meanwhile, Eazy was doing exactly what everyone suspected. Instead of keeping quiet, he was using the chaos to boost his visibility. The more Remy tried to pull back, the more he leaned into the attention. He went live. He gave shady interviews. He laughed at certain tweets. He avoided denying anything. He let the internet speculate because he knew speculation meant traffic. Traffic meant clout. And clout meant bookings. In his mind, whether the world loved him or hated him didn't matter as long as the world was looking at him. But the worst part is what insiders started leaking next. Because apparently, Remy wasn't just emotionally invested, she was financially entangled with Eazy. Sources claimed she paid for his wardrobe, funded his PR, pushed for his battle rap placements, and even covered some of his travel. She believed in him so deeply that she treated him like an artist she was building from scratch. And now that everything is collapsing, those same insiders are saying she regrets every penny. Because while she was pouring money into him, he was busy pouring his attention into other women. Then came the anonymous source who shook the internet when they claimed they saw Remy crying backstage after confronting Eazy about one of his side situations. According to them, Eazy didn't even argue, he shrugged. He allegedly told her she was overreacting. He allegedly said she shouldn't worry about what people were saying. And he allegedly told her, in the coldest tone possible, that he never asked her to defend him in public. That line alone was enough for the internet to explode. Because while Remy was out here risking her reputation, he was acting like he didn't even need her. That was the moment the internet realized this wasn't a relationship, it was a PR machine she was fueling alone. But things got worse. Much worse. Because the more this scandal grew, the more people started revisiting the Papoose situation. Suddenly, old interviews started circulating. Old clips of Papoose praising Remy, old videos of them at events, showing genuine affection. Old moments that reminded everyone what she gave up. And the internet loves nothing more than comparing a loyal man to the man she risked everything for. Memes popped up. Side-by-side comparisons. Threads about how Eazy downgraded her. People saying she left a king for a placeholder. The narrative was spiraling in a direction Remy had no control over. Behind the scenes, even people close to Remy allegedly told her she made the biggest mistake of her career. Not because she dated Eazy, but because she dated Eazy publicly. They said she should have been quiet. They said she should have moved smarter. They said she underestimated how manipulative he was. And worst of all, they said she allowed herself to get emotionally played by someone who never had the capacity to handle a woman of her status. But while all this was happening, Eazy was getting bolder. According to one leaked text, he told someone he felt like he could do better than Remy, better career-wise, better age-wise, better aesthetically. That message triggered a firestorm. Suddenly, people weren't just dragging him, they were tearing him apart. They said he used Remy. They said he targeted her. They said he watched her crumble and didn't even flinch. They said he was the definition of opportunistic. And with every drag, every tweet, every comment, the scandal grew deeper, but the truly shocking twist happened when a supposed former friend of Eazy came forward with claims that Eazy had been plotting his exit strategy from the beginning. According to this person, Eazy believed Remy would eventually lose her emotional grip on him, so he was lining up other women as backups. He allegedly said he wasn't going to be tied down. He allegedly said he only needed Remy long enough to get into certain rooms. And once he got in, he didn't need her anymore. Hearing that, the internet didn't just react, they erupted. Suddenly, the story became a hot topic on news channels that usually don't even acknowledge hip-hop drama. Even mainstream outlets started covering the situation. They labeled Eazy as manipulative. They called Remy's decision reckless. They painted Papoose as the silent hero who walked away with dignity. And when a global media company picks a side, that's when you know the scandal has crossed into a whole new territory. But what people aren't talking about publicly is how this fallout is affecting Remy's business ventures. Her battle rap league, her branding deals, her sponsorships, her executive positions. All of them now have a permanent stain. Because brands don't care about emotional mess, they care about public image. And right now, her image is a minefield. Even people within the industry who used to be close to her are allegedly backing away. One insider even said, "This scandal hurt her more than her prison sentence ever did." That line alone says everything. Meanwhile, Papoose has been watching everything unfold without saying a word. No interviews, no subtweets, no shady posts. That silence is louder than anything, because the internet has unofficially crowned him the moral winner. The man who gave loyalty and got betrayal in return. The man who handled heartbreak with dignity instead of chaos. His silence became a storyline of its own. And the craziest, this video? Remy allegedly tried to reach out to him multiple times, but insiders claim he isn't responding. They say he's moved on emotionally. They say he's done saving people who don't want to be saved. They say he finally realized he deserved better. And the public agrees with him, but the one person who hasn't learned anything from this entire disaster is Eazy. Instead of moving quieter, he's leaning into the chaos even more. He's enjoying the sympathy from certain fans. He's taking the attention as a sign that he's the moment. But what he doesn't realize is that the same public dragging Remy today will eventually drag him tomorrow. Because scandals don't stay one-sided for long. And now, insiders are saying the situation is about to escalate into something nobody expected. Something involving contracts. Something involving legal threats. Something involving accusations of manipulation, misuse of funds, and exploitation. This isn't just a breakup anymore, it's a fallout powerful enough to shake careers. And that right there is where the story gets even darker. Because the moment Remy realized Eazy wasn't just entertaining side women, he was actually building whole secret relationships. Suddenly, the entire hip-hop world felt like it shifted. People started whispering that maybe Remy wasn't the mastermind of this scandal after all. Maybe she was just another woman caught up in a smooth-talking, camera-ready manipulator who knew exactly how to weaponize vulnerability, attention, and street poetry charm. But the more investigators dug into Eazy's movements, the worse the timeline looked. One anonymous battle rap league staffer claimed he saw Eazy backstage hugging a girl so tight you would think they were married. And when he made accidental eye contact, Eazy allegedly winked like it was normal behavior. Another anonymous source, supposedly a driver hired for a private Philadelphia trip, claimed Eazy made him stop the car twice, once to pick up a woman, and the second time to drop her off at a hotel before Remy even knew he had left the city. And while all of this was unfolding, the internet was in complete meltdown mode. Fans who used to worship Remy for her strength now felt torn. Some were calling her the queen who got blindsided, while others were dragging her for leaving Papoose in the first place. One viral comment said, "Imagine throwing away a man who stood by you during prison for a man who can't stay faithful for 3 months." Another said, "Remy went from lean back to leaning into delusion." But the worst part was the wave of memes. They were everywhere, edited photos of Eazy running track, Eazy in a NASCAR uniform, Eazy wearing a pilot headset like he was coordinating multiple landing strips at the same time. It became clear that Eazy wasn't just cheating, he was performing at an Olympic level of deception. Meanwhile, Remy's circle was scrambling. People close to her were allegedly trying to do damage control, threatening to sue blogs, and sending out cryptic messages about misinformation and false narratives. But every time they tried to flip the story, another woman came forward with screenshots, voice notes, or blurry but still suspicious hotel hallway videos. One woman even claimed Eazy promised her a spot in his upcoming battle documentary, a promise that magically disappeared the moment Remy walked into the building. It didn't take long before insiders started asking the real question: was Eazy genuinely in love with Remy, or was he using her influence, fame, and reach as leverage to climb into higher spaces of the industry? But the loudest whispers were coming from Papoose's side. People say he had been quiet, but he wasn't blind. That calm, collected, stoic energy he always had? It shifted. Sources close to him allegedly said he felt humiliated in silence, like the man who once supported Remy through every storm was now watching her drown in one she created herself. Rumors started spreading that Papoose's team was preparing statements, clearing schedules, even exploring interviews, something he never does. The narrative was turning from Remy caught in heartbreak to Remy caught in karma. And that shift lit another fire across social media. But the scandal didn't stop there, no. Because once the public realized Eazy's cheating wasn't just emotional, but strategic, the conversation shifted entirely. People began digging into Eazy's sudden rise, the sponsorships, the sudden flow of cash, the new wardrobe, the dramatic upgrades in hotels, flights, equipment, even his entourage. It felt like the kind of spending that didn't match his established income. And whenever celebrity spending stops making sense, conspiracy theories start multiplying like wildfire. The biggest theory? Someone else was funding his lifestyle. Some said it was Remy, others said it was one of the women he was allegedly involved with, a woman with deeper pockets and bigger connections. But the strangest rumor suggested that Eazy was secretly negotiating deals behind Remy's back, promising exclusives and private access to his battles in exchange for, well, companionship, and that rumor became explosive the moment a blurred screenshot leaked showing Eazy texting someone, "Don't worry, she ain't here. I got you." Fans paused. Who is she? Remy? And where exactly was here? A hotel? A studio? An Airbnb? No one could confirm, but that didn't stop bloggers from running with it like they had just received a classified FBI file. In the middle of this chaos, a podcast host dropped the biggest shock yet, claiming he spoke to someone from Eazy's team who said he wasn't built for monogamy. The industry put too much pressure on him after Remy. Suddenly, the narrative wasn't just infidelity, it was incompatibility, PR manipulation, and emotional exploitation. And what did Remy do while all of this was burning? She went silent. The kind of silence that isn't peace, the kind that is plotting, calculating, observing every inch of the battlefield before she moves. The kind of silence that scares people who know she doesn't speak unless she's ready to detonate something. Meanwhile, blogs reported that Remy unfollowed certain accounts, deleted certain posts, and stopped liking anything involving Eazy. Those small moves created massive waves because when a woman who once defended a man publicly suddenly removes digital traces, it's never accidental. It's intentional. It's a shift. It's a moment behind the scenes. People whispered that Remy had confronted Eazy privately and that the argument was so loud neighbors allegedly heard the words embarrassed, ungrateful, and after everything I risked, whether true or not. That rumor spread like gasoline in a firestorm, and right when fans thought this saga couldn't get worse, one more bomb dropped. An audio recording surfaced of a woman claiming she and Eazy had been talking for months and she didn't even know he was publicly tied to Remy until she went online. She claimed he told her he was single but complicated, a phrase that sent shockwaves across the entire internet because men only use that line when they are cheating, lying, or preparing to. After that, everything spiraled into reactions, think pieces, and leaked exclusive insider details from people who definitely were not insiders but loved pretending they were. But mixed within all the noise were a few voices that mattered: Remy's old allies, battle rap ogs, and industry veterans who said they warned her that Eazy wasn't built for long-term partnership, stability, or loyalty. One insider put it simply: you can't turn a viral moment into a lifetime commitment, and that sentence became the unofficial summary of the entire scandal. By now, the hip-hop world was divided into factions. Team Remy felt heartbreak and betrayal. Team Eazy defended him, saying he was young, free, and not married. Team Papoose? They sat quietly, observing, letting the internet do the dragging. Because no one drags like the internet, and the internet was working overtime, creating timelines, graphs, screenshots, and little PowerPoint presentations analyzing the cheating scandal like it was a grad school thesis. And right at the center of it all was Remy, a woman who built her career on strength, resilience, and survival, now faced with the ultimate public humiliation, not because she chose love, but because she chose the wrong love. While Eazy continued performing, smiling, showing up at events as if he were not the epicenter of a digital hurricane, Remy was left dealing with fallout, broken trust, and the realization that everything she traded for this man might end up costing her more than she ever expected. But the most chilling part of the entire saga wasn't the cheating, the leaked screenshots, the anonymous sources, or the industry whispers. It was the possibility that this wasn't the end. Because when a scandal starts with infidelity but grows into manipulation, financial questions, industry rumors, and emotional betrayal, it rarely ends quietly. It ends with consequences, exposure, and the truth clawing its way to the surface whether the people involved want it or not. And that is exactly where things stand right now, as the world waits to see what Remy will do, what Eazy will say next, and whether this messy, tangled web of choices, lies, and ego will explode into something even bigger. Because at this point, it feels like the scandal has only just started breathing, and now the only question left is this: after everything that's come out, after all the leaks, the whispers, the receipts, the backstage chaos, and the late-night phone calls that should have never happened, what happens next? Does Remy Ma stand tall and reclaim her throne? Or does this scandal mark the beginning of a new era of betrayal, pride, and painful lessons? Does Eazy finally tell the truth, or does he keep hiding behind half answers and backstage smirks? And most importantly, will this saga end with redemption, or with another bombshell waiting to drop? Because if there's one thing we've learned from celebrity scandals, it's this: nothing is ever final, and the moment you think the story is over, that's exactly when the next twist hits. So don't even think about going anywhere. Stay locked in, stay watching, stay sipping your tea, because this is the kind of chaos that doesn't fade. It multiplies if you're just as shocked as we are. Hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe so you never miss another explosive truth. This is Vault Celeb, where the stories are wild, the receipts are heavy, and the truth is always one scandal away from breaking wide open.